right.
Welcome to Monday morning. I was off this last week with my daughter who had surgery on Tuesday. She's doing okay, so we're back at it today. Thank you for joining me this morning. All right, we're gonna start down on our mats. Knees wide, big toes together, coming down into child's pose. Your third eye is resting on a mat or a block. And just really find your breath here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And just follow your breath. Let's set an intention. I'm going to let you set your own intention today. So think of the purpose of being here and what you want this practice to bring to your day. And feel free to say it out loud to yourself, affirming what you want to get out of this. I always like to roll my forehead back and forth on the mat. And just kind of give my forehead a little bit of a massage. Coming back to neutral on your forehead there. Continuing to breathe. And we're going to rise up onto all fours. Remembering to breathe, we're going to take some cat-cows. Exhale, cow. Inhale, cat. Exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And just continue to follow your breath here. And meet me back at neutral. I'm going to take some balance just to start our practice off on that right foot, right? So extend your right arm out in front of you, place it back down. Extend your left arm out in front of you, place your hand back down. Right leg out straight, back down. Left leg out straight, back down. Now right hand, left leg, out straight and long. Let's bring our knee and elbow together. And out straight. And back together. One more, out straight. And back together. And then place them down on the mat. Left hand out straight, right leg out straight. And knee and elbow together. Out. And together. Out. And together. And back down on the mat. Tuck your toes underneath, pushing your hips up high, coming up into downward facing dog. So I like to extend and push my heels down into the mat, lifting up, pushing down. Just trying to work on that flexibility in my calves, the backs of my legs,
remembering to breathe here. So, so, so important. Just keep breathing even when it feels a little challenging. Your breath is what your whole practice revolves around. Alright, walk your hands back, meeting your feet, forward fold. Let your hands just kind of dangle for a minute. Feeling that stretch in your upper spine, your neck, feeling that tension just melting down your arms and away from your body. Grabbing opposite elbows for ragdoll. I invite you to just kind of sway back and forth here. Feeling that stretch in your spine. And back to neutral. And again, just hang for a couple breaths. Dropping your arms down. Hands coming to above your knee, halfway lift. And rising up nice and tall. Hands are above your head. Reaching, reaching, reaching. Feel the ground beneath you firmly supporting you in your practice today. Hands coming together and down to heart center. We're going to heel toe our feet together here. So your ankles should be touching and your knees should be touching. We're going to come into chair. So from here we're going to sit our butts back. Really leaning back on those heels. You should be able to wiggle your toes, and you look down, you should be able to see your toes. Hands stretching out overhead. And just hold it here. Let's challenge yourselves a little bit. For 3 rounds of breath. So 2 more. And 1 more round of breath. And coming up nice and tall once again. Hands coming down heart center. Right foot taking a big step forward. Coming into that lunge. Arms go up tall for warrior 1. And just find your breath here. So we're going to just go through the warrior series a little bit slower today. It's a Monday after all, right? So let's kind of breathe into it. And opening up for warrior 2, dropping that back heel down. And let's just for fun reverse our warrior. And coming back up. Coming into a triangle, modified, so you can rest your hand right on your knee, or you can come down onto the inside of that right foot. So modified would be here, full triangle would be here. Wherever you are comfortable is perfectly fine. Standing up for warrior 2, turning forward. And now for a little bit more balance, you can feel free to keep your toes on and just lean forward here. Or you can really challenge yourself, find a focal point and lift your left foot off the mat. Remembering to balance here. And drop that foot back down. That was warrior 3, opening up into warrior 2. Foot in the front, turning to the side, so you're in a very wide stance here. So now we're going to take a forward fold. Just kind of slow down for a second. Remembering to breathe. Hands coming to your knees. Halfway lift, looking towards the front of your mat.
Standing up nice and tall. Once again, turning to that right, coming into warrior one. Dropping your hands down to the mat. Step your right foot back, coming into high plank. Slightly dipping forward here and lowering down. Upward facing dog. And pushing back into downward facing dog. Find your breath here. Walk your hands back to meet your feet. Forward fold. And once again, just really letting gravity pull your hands down to the mat. Grabbing opposite elbows here. You can just take some sways back and forth from your left to your right, just really stretching your back out, helping extend. Drop your hands down. Hands coming to above the knees, halfway lift. And exhale, rising up nice and tall, hands overhead. Again, feeling that ground beneath you. Hands coming to heart center. Heel toe your feet together here. We're going to take another chair. So remembering here to sit back, right? You should be able to wiggle your toes, see your toes. Helps to take some of that pressure off your knees here if you're sitting back on those heels. Arms extend overhead. Make sure you're sitting in that chair. We're just going to hold it for 2 more rounds of breath. One more round. And rising up in a controlled fashion. And stepping forward with your left foot this time. Now I'm actually going to turn around so my butt's not to you, but so left foot's forward, right foot's behind you. Coming into warrior one. Nice and tall here. Find your breath. Mine seems to be missing today. I apologize. Working on it. Alright, strap that heel down, opening up, warrior two. Your gaze can follow forward. Over the middle finger on your left hand here. Reverse your warrior. Coming up tall. Now we're going to take some triangle here. So you're going to slide your hips, your body forward on your hips there. Modified once again, your elbow is resting on top of your knee. If you want to take the full triangle, you're going to reach your hand down to the mat. And take some full triangle here. Up to you what you would like to do. And rising back up tall. And turning. Now once again, this is that balance. So whatever you're comfortable with doing is perfectly fine. If you just want to come here and not lift your foot up, that's perfectly fine. If you want to lift your foot up and take that next step, go ahead. Remember to find your focal point. Don't be looking at me, I'm shaking. I might make you shake more. Drop your foot down, coming up tall for warrior one. And drop your hands down to the mat. Stepping back into high plank here. Forward slightly, lowering down, chaturanga, upward facing dog.
pushing back into downward facing dog. Whew. That was fun. Alright, back into high plank, lowering down, upward facing dog, and downward facing dog. Let's do our 10 Sun A's for this Monday morning. So we're on 2. Let's continue through, lowering down, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. That was number 3. High plank, lowering down, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. 4. High plank, lowering down, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. 5. Halfway, high plank, lowering your hands down, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. 6. 4 more. High plank, lowering down, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. 7. High plank, lowering down, upward facing dog, and downward facing dog. 8. 2 more. High plank, lowering down, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Last one. High plank, lowering down, chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Alright, hands are going to walk your hands back. Meet your feet here. My watch died, so I just have to make sure I'm on the right time here. Alright. So you're at a forward fold. Halfway lift. Rising up nice and tall here. And I'm going to face you for this, but you can stay facing the side of your mat. Hands coming down. You remember eagle that we did 2 weeks ago? Right? So we're going to do that again because it was fun. So, right leg out forward, planted on the opposite side of that left ankle. So you're twisted, right, like the pretzel. And then right arm extends. Left arm coming over, so you're twisted here. Bend that right arm up. Bring that left hand around so your palms are together. So you're twisted nice here. And we're just gonna sit back and lift those arms towards the sky. So pushing those fingertips up towards your ceiling and sitting back like you're sitting in a chair with some twisted legs. You should feel a lot of stretching going on in your back here, a little bit of balance, and standing up, hands falling out of it. I always like to shake it out a little bit. We'll do the opposite now. So left leg over your right, so you're twisted this way. Left arm goes out straight, right arm hugs, comes up. Left hand and right palm meet, and sit back, and lifting those arms up. It's really where you're going to get that stretch through your upper back, and sitting down here. Great job. Alright, standing up tall. Reach, 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 let's stretch out again. Bring your feet a little bit wider than hip length here. Hip width. Until I even slept good, giving my daughter medicine every couple hours. Hands at heart center. We're going to come down on those heels for a yogi squat and back up. And down on those heels and back up. One more. Down on those heels. And back up. Now I'm going to ask you to meet me down on your mat. With the bottoms of your feet together. And just find your breath here. We're going to slow our practice down. So we got a lot of good movement in. And we're just going to kind of slow it down and get ready for the day ahead, right? So nice and tall, finding your breath. We're going to lay back, feet coming flat on your mat. And take a bridge. So pushing through those heels. Again here, like with everything, you should be able to wiggle your toes. Okay, really pushing with your glutes. And let's just hold it a little extra long this morning. Really push those hip bones up to the ceiling. Push through those heels. Let's just focus on where you're pushing from. Keep your abdomen tight. And lowering down. And stretching your legs out straight in front of you. Coming into Shavasana. Start at the top of your head and work our way down. Feeling your forehead relax. And your eyes drop. Letting your lids close. Feeling your cheeks just loosen, your jaw drop. Any stress or tension you're holding in your teeth just goes away. Let it go with your breath. Your shoulders sink a little bit lower into the mat. And your fingertips just graze and loosen. Feel your chest letting go of that tension. And your belly just relaxing. With each breath, your hips sink further into the mat and your knees fall to the sides. And your toes follow suit. And just find your breath, focusing on that exhale, gentle inhale. And exhale. start to wiggle your toes. And your fingertips coming back to the room. Feet coming flat. Up on the mat, bending your knees. Dropping them to the right side of your mat, left hand coming over and pushing off the ground. Coming up into your seated position. Hands at heart center. Thank you all so very much for gracing me today with your presence and going on this yoga journey with me. I hope you all have a wonderful Monday. Namaste.